Yeah, and I recently watched an interview of Joe Dispenza. You know this guy? Yeah, he's saying that people are not ready to change unless they're ready to feel something, and unless they're ready to kind of go through a particular emotion. And it's not enough just to set your mind to something or think about something, right? To get closer to what you want. It's actually super important to feel something new and kind of understand how when you're envisioning or vision, like doing this exercise of visualization, right? You also have to almost put your body into the state, right? And try to maybe by meditating or something or priming, Tony Robbins, one of, I think his most watched video on YouTube is priming exercise, where you prime your brain to feel something uh, that you want, and you almost feel it in your body what is going to be like when you are, for example, giving a speech to thousands of people. That's one of my goals, right? To give speech to thousands of people. And when I'm priming my mind, I can almost practically feeling this, right? And it's not like it's a dream. You have to envision it uh, as as it is a reality. It's already happened, and then your body starts to react. And
Uh, I just want to say that I absolutely agree. And I think that everything we wanted to achieve starts from our mind. When we have
Mhm.
this picture in our heads, we are already, expanded to this kind of life.
Mhm.
And the
Mhm.
next step, we prepare our, knowledges, our experience, our skill sets, everything to achieve this thing. But everything
Mhm.
starts from your head. And if you do not think that, like, oh, this life can be mine, I don't think I can dream it, I don't think I really can achieve it, you're limiting yourself by saying, no, this life is not for me. So I am absolutely without any limits. If I want something, I dream about it and then start the process of how I gonna achieve it, which is of course not a very easy path always, but at least you start doing different actions to achieve it.
Can you give an example of a planned out strategy that worked for you? Because for me, plans never work. Because for me, it's never the way you design. I'm not. I'm like I wanted to be a better planner in my life. Maybe that's why I'm able to create things, but not particularly maintain them. That's why I lost the business that I started with my co-founder. Uh, and just because I just lose interest as I go. Yes, Simon Sinek says he always preaches about consistency over intensity. Like when we're brushing our teeth or going to a gym, no good will come from training for 24 hours in a row, right? But if you just go to a gym twice a week, but consistently for like over the span of a year, you're gonna see the result. I also wanted to
Uh,
ask you, yeah, yeah.
Speaking about Simon Sinek, his most famous book, Start with Why, is also a great addition because when you're starting with why, you can achieve any goal because you have a perfect question to consistently do your actions instead of considering of how and what. It's
Yeah.
important, but the most important is why. Just remember it when you told about Simon Sinek.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm one of his ambassadors, basically. All my business coaching revolves around studies by Simon Sinek, and it was really funny and kind of inspiring when I asked his team to give me a discount for one of his courses, and it was the like a year into a war, and I said that I'm a Ukrainian. I want to spread the message. I want to help Ukrainians to kind of lead and see the world the way Simon talks about it. And they didn't reply for like a month. And they did send me a message that Sergey, like you're making the world a better place. Here's this course for free. So this is one of the most inspiring things that happened to me. But anyhow, I think when you said that you had a strategic goal, but you adjusted uh, these steps, as you were preparing, you still did not compromise the process. You still like if you set out to do something, you still did it, right? Like how important is the discipline? Because you can adjust it to like and not and maybe start losing your skills because of the adjustment. So there should be like a proper, I think, like a measure to everything.
Yes, absolutely. Discipline is incredibly important, but I would
Mm-hmm.
say it's still just a tool. It's not the key. The
Mm-hmm.
key is, your own space. Like, how do you feel inside? Because this reflects your efficiency, this reflects how do you do things, and this
Mm-hmm.
reflects your mindset. So discipline is amazing. You have to build your time. I'm consistently, disciplined and doing lots of things. But what drives me into the discipline is, again, the thing why I want to achieve that, why I want to do that, the big mission, the big role around it. And of course, I also like the thing about changing the discipline to habit. So when I
Mm-hmm.
transfer something from discipline to habits, so it's easier, it not becomes a regular task. It's just a habit that I do something, and it's much easier for our mind not to, confront it, and just easy do that.
So yeah, because discipline, it kind of entails or implies the necessity of overcoming something, or doing something through like using willpower, while habit is just a habit, right? It's neutral. It's just something that you do. Yeah, that's big time. And I think I saw something on your videos related to what I believe is the underlying reason, not only for people who move to another country, but an underlying reason for depression is loneliness. I think that it's kind of funny how people of absolutely different sides of the spectrum, starting from people who are in poverty to, for example, I watched the interview of Brian Chesky, Airbnb founder, who's had just excruciatingly lonely life, and he admitted that you have to sacrifice something as you're building a company, and he sacrificed real human connection, right? And there's not a lot of things in this world that can get us back on track if we just lose the skill of communicating with other people for the sake of, for example, generating cash. A lot of what happens a lot in the men's world, especially in the alpha like sort of type of man, which I believe is really toxic. And I think that the toxic masculinity is the real thing. And I think that men in our world have to um, understand that being vulnerable is totally fine. That asking question is totally fine. That apologizing is totally fine. That letting your woman make decisions for you sometimes is totally, or for the household, is totally fine. And I hope that we're moving in the direction where like we all have our roles, right? But at the same time, I just want people to become softer. And maybe this is an idealistic world that I envision, but I believe that we do have chance for the world like that. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. And you talked about, toxic like relationship between men. We have same kind of thing in our womenhood, but it's more connected to competition. and
Mm.
I just hate it. I truly hate it. I believe in women friendship. I believe that only by supporting each other and empowering each other we can.
We have, I don't remember the name of the guy, but we have a creative agency here in Ukraine, Banda. You know Banda? They won a lot of awards for best like whatever creative art or whatever. And the founder gave a TED talk in Kiev about is there a word naiveness or naivety, being naive, the importance of being naive. And I think that people like you and people like me are often considered to be naive by all these smartass, especially business people who are actually putting their status of ahead in front of everything, right? They want everyone to know that they are a CEO. Okay, you are a CEO, but the problem is that unless you admit that you don't know something, unless you like romanticizing life to an extent, right? Unless you are naive to believe that people are good, that that the dreams can become a reality, right? You're pretty much limiting yourself. Yes, sometimes people, when on this point, sometimes people are trying things out on the side, making this like just a small side gig or whatever. But and that just stays how it is. You see, sometimes I think we need to take a leap of faith and try to just invest more of yourself into something that you can really do without. I think this is a focal point, without being paid. Sometimes late hours. If you do this something and you don't want to be paid, or you can do it at night, I mean, that's already something. And definitely 100%, when it inspires you and just it feels like you don't need to rest from it, like you got energized just by doing it.